All right, let's see. All right, let's see. I got some lights over here. I don't know if that is going to be the kicker. Let's see. Somebody just came in. Let's see who's here, and hopefully they can hear me. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Scott is coming in. We are live. Can you hear me, Scott? That is the greater question. I can hear you. Yes. You know, it's not a Monday without with Fernando without having um trouble on the live stream, right? Welcome, Scott. Welcome to retake 2. I don't know if you guys were paying attention to that. Uh but we're in retake 2. Glenn Anderson says 5x5. Everybody over here on TikTok says, welcome to all of you guys on YouTube. It's Fernando's fault. Oh my goodness. All right. You guys, thank you guys for joining us. Awesome. I will surpass all the theatrics of a welcome. Awesome. All right. So Scott is here. Glenn is here. Who else is here? Hopefully Saltness is back with us. Hopefully. All right, so let's go ahead and start. So I have a different program for all of you guys today. I'm excited because today is a little different. I am going to start with the channel news because that's all about you guys and what you guys are doing and how you guys are sharing the channel. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to share that right now for you guys to have that. Thank you guys over on it's you guys. I think I don't know what's happening over here, but I think I'm back. It's you guys that are helping this channel to grow, and it's me here just trying to encourage you guys to continue to prep, continue to move forward in that. Awesome, thank you, Glenn. Appreciate that. So tonight's going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to read this to you here real quick for the channel news. Today in YouTube land, we are sitting at 765 subscribers, and I'm excited about that because this last week, we've gained 4 new subscribers, and that's awesome. To me, that's awesome. I'm thankful for that. TikTok, you guys are sitting at 3,695 followers, subscribers. We are up 19 new subscribers on TikTok, and Facebook community, we kind of stayed the same. We're at 167 on Facebook, and on the community page there on Facebook, we're still sitting at 27. I have some news about that here in a minute. On X, we're sitting at 1,046 followers. We gained 2 this week, which is pretty cool in X. Instagram is slowly creeping up to YouTube, and we are sitting today at 720 subscribers, inching up to that 765 that YouTube has. And in Instagram, we are up this week 20 new followers. So that's great. Ohio Valley Prepping, thank you, brother, for joining us tonight. Scott is here too. Glenn is here. I hope the girls are able to come back. I know Shelly was there, and so was Saltness. So hopefully they'll jump in here in a little bit. So this week total, there's Saltness. She had an issue with my camera. Okay, good, awesome. So Totally, we have 45 new family members to the channel, and I'm excited about that. So, as I was saying today, this is going to go for both, well, all for all three of you. Those of you here on Facebook community, um, and those of you that are here on YouTube, and those of you that are in TikTok. I want you guys, I want you to know that today I want to do something a little different. I want to kind of just open the floor to all of you to ask me questions. Usually I come on here, we talk about the news, we talk about what's happening in the day, and I want to change it a little different today. So I want you guys, I want to be open to you guys and answer your questions. Let's see. So whatever questions you guys have for me about the channel, about my videos, about whatever, I'm wanting to open the floor for this. Wanted to try this. This is a little different for me. Without any kind of, we're going to talk about this first, and then we're going to talk about that. Because I normally do that. And I think that I shared with Saltmus today, I said, I don't want to be always be the one talking. So, because I can talk a lot. Trust me, I'm a old Baptist preacher, and so you give me a microphone, right, and you give me time, and we will, we'll tell a couple of jokes, and we'll get into the Bible, and then we'll pick up the offering. I mean, we'll do all that. So, let's see. Glenn says. Scott says, shared, we need to get you to 1K on YouTube. Yes, that would be pretty cool. We've been kind of stuck in the 700s for a little bit, and we had a pretty good push a while back. I'm of the idea that if we could, as YouTubers, right, if we could just join together, right. I have been talking with a few YouTubers and trying to get them to kind of like come together, right? I don't believe that we should compete because we're all talking about the same subject, and whether that's what's happening in the world or whether that's prepping, or we all make the same things together the same way. Our videos are not all the same because we have our own take on things, but I really truly believe that if somebody joined my channel here on YouTube and they were brand new to YouTube, a new YouTuber, I would love to promote them, right? It's like all of the people that come here on my channel, I always promote them, right? And because I'm not the be all end all. I'm not. I'm learning just as much as you guys are learning. And so when I talk about community, I mean community, right? I've been talking um, with Ohio Valley Prepping, talking about, doing a camp here in Texas, bug out weekend here. And I'm hoping to do that next year in 26. And so I'm working on that, still on planning that. So that's coming up. I still have plans for that. So yeah, so I'm talking to a few people, and I want to kind of build this community where all of us together are encouraging one another. We're building each other up, and God is going to bless that, right? I could come out on here and it could just be my show, and that's it, right? There's a lot of channels that are that way, and they work really hard at what they do, and I'm just a simple guy. I am not anybody famous. I don't plan to be famous, but I have a word that the Lord has given to me to share with everyone else. So that's what I want to do. That's my dream, is to bring YouTubers together so that we can get our content all out to you guys who are here faithfully listening all the time, right? And you guys, hang out here with me on a Monday night, and it's late for some of y'all, right? Because I'm Central Time. It's 9 o'clock here. If you're Eastern, it's already 10. And people tell me, Fernando, that are on the Eastern side of the U.S. They're like, Fernando, you go on too late, and I say, no, you go to bed too early. Fernando's a night owl, so you got to learn that. So yeah, I mean, this is really truly the only time I have, because I try not to take too much time away from my wife and doing things with her, because that's my wife, and I want to spend time with her. But at the same time, you guys are my friends, and so I want to be here with you too as well. So I limit some of those things. All right, so let me get to some of y'all's questions. Let's see. Scott, welcome, Scott. I already said that. Ohio, do you think the economy will get better? This is Ohio Valley Prepping. Do you think the economy will get better or just keep spiraling downward? Well, if you look at the price of gold, for me, that's kind of an indicator, because people are moving to that, and the value of our dollar is just dwindling. And so it's like I've been telling my wife, I'm not a banker, I'm not a financial guy, I'm not. I am a spender, right? So my wife is the one who does all of our financials. And so if you give me money, I'm gonna go online and buy prepping stuff, or stuff for me to go camping. So anyway, so yeah, so I look at those things, and I pay attention to what BRICS is doing. I pay attention to what other banks and other countries are doing, because those are indicators also for us, right? We know that China's financial system is dwindling too. So can we trust the dollar? Not really, because it was gold backed at one point, and now it's not like that anymore. So I think our economy is going to keep going spiraling unless something is done. I know that we're doing a lot of these tariffs, but all of the money that we're saving, all of the money that we're gaining from those things, where is that money going, right? I get the idea of all of that stuff, but we're not ever told about, did they take what we've now gained and put it towards, our debt? Nothing is ever being said about that. And so, are we going to still owe trillions, or is that amount going down? So, those are indicators that we can look at and stay vigilant to, because, we know that if we already are in so much debt, that means that we don't have that money. I mean, just thinking about our own finances, right? Let's say we get a credit card and we max out that credit card, but our bank account doesn't reflect what we spent. That means that we're going to have that debt, and we're going to have it for a long time, because it's just going to compound on each other on top of, all the interest and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to continue to grow rather than continue to dwindle down. And so, there's all of those indicators that we can look at in our world that will actually give us an idea of what is happening. What we have to do is we have to be vigilant to those things. Nobody's going to tell us, one day it's just going to fall out of the sky, and we have to be ready, right? So, I tell my wife, let's keep some, let's save some, let's keep some, let's save some, and because you just never know. If the financial market crashes, whatever you had in the bank is it going to be attainable? I doubt it. What's going to happen to that? And so, just things to think about. But Ohio Valley Prepping, I think that we're going to continue to spiral downward unless all of this stuff that they're doing with tariffs and things are the things that are going to dig us out of that. Um, Salt Mist says, thanks. We've had issues with kids in our town breaking into homes and cars and vandalism. Salt Mist, I'm glad you said that because I have in my plethora of information that I pulled up today. I found right here. Here it is. So I'll get to this in a minute, but I'll answer what you're telling me. I just need to know where that was. Okay. So, yes, it is not just happening where you live, but it is happening where I live. And I bet if we took some kind of survey that if kids are running rampant and they're breaking into homes and cars and vandalism, I bet you all of us can say yes, crime is rising in my area, because I can tell you that in the city that I live in, crime is up there. And how Fernando stays vigilant to that is with the Nextdoor app. I'm going to be honest with you. The Nextdoor app has a lot of things in there that, are sometimes kind of like, why would you post that in there? But, I skip through all that fluff and I am vigilant to all of the things that are happening here in the city where I live. And there are tons and tons of people who are posting their doorbell cameras, their outside security camera footage of kids breaking into cars and trucks, even stealing them. Um, Porch pirates picking up packages, people breaking into homes, people clicking on the Ring camera, leaving weird messages on their camera, just a plethora of things. And so for where I live, I get my information on the Nextdoor app, and it keeps me up to date what's happening in the greater area of my neighborhood, right? Because you kind of sign in, and then you sign in what neighborhood you live in or what area you live in. Hey guys, thank you for the heart. And when you do that, or when you see that in there, it kind of gives you an indication of what's happening. One of the biggest things that's happening here is kids breaking into mailboxes, stealing all the mail. So there are some neighborhoods here where I live that have like a community mailbox, and it's everybody's mailbox in this one huge container, right? And so people walk from their house to go to this box, and it has so many. I think it has one block or two blocks, and they all share this one huge box that's separated for everybody's individual house number, right? Well, the mailman has the key that opens the whole back up to access every little box, and he puts the mail in there, right? And so, you know, there have been vandals taking all of the mail out of there and stealing it, right? Why? Because people get money in the mail. People receive a check still in the mail. I think. I mean, I don't know if that's a thing. I don't really use checks anymore. But they're breaking into the mail to get all of those things plus packages, things like that, right? So that's how I stay up to date to what's happening, not just in my neighborhood that I live in, but in the greater neighborhood of where I am in that area. So, and then it connects you to all of the other areas in San Antonio. You're able to see that information too as well. So, salt mist that is happening at least in my area, and that's one way that you can um, stay up to date with that information. Um, so yeah, so I would look into that. Let's see. Scott says that is what is great about YouTube prepping community. They all support each other for the most part. Yes, you are correct. You are right. I have connected with Rule. That's how I connected with Ohio Valley Prepping, is through the Rule Report, and so him and I have been, messaging each other through our videos, and a couple of times, and so that's really neat. I love Rule, and I love his videos in the morning, and so I think that that's the way to do it. And I tell you that because what kicked me off when I started was because I've been 2 years here on YouTube under God's Prepared Warrior, longer on my name YouTube page through our ministry and stuff like that. Um, but for God's Prepared Warrior, we've been up for 2 years. 1 year, I have been following as many people as I could to learn all about prepping through all the stuff I experienced through COVID, and it was um, pinball preparedness, who I was watching on a Saturday, and listening to him. I said, you know what, I'm going to start a live, and I'm going to go live after pinball on a Saturday night. I don't know if some of you guys remember that are from his channel. And I said, I'm just going to invite people from here. I am early in the chat like you guys are, right? You guys get here early, you know, and I'm sitting in here and I'm waiting. I'm like, I'm just gonna type in here, my name's Fernando, I'm God's Prepared Warrior, and I'm gonna go live right after pinball. So you guys can come to my channel and we'll go live together. Immediately, his moderators began to message me in the chat saying that I could not do that. But Pinball was in his comments like I am when you guys are checking in and reading everything, right? And he was reading, and he saw my that I invited people to come to my channel after his, and he stated, he went on the chat and he said, no, leave God's Prepared Warrior alone. He can do that. And that's all he had said. And I was like, wow, that's so cool, right? And I thought, that was it. I thought it was okay, right? Well, pinball comes on, and he starts welcoming everyone, and then he says, so I gotta kind of stop this, because if not, my moderators are gonna kick him out. And he said, I'm gonna tell you, because I nearly fell out my chair, and I think I did, really. He said, leave God's Prepared Warrior alone. I've checked out his stuff. He's legit. You should all go check out his channel. And that night, I think my biggest night ever that I've been live here, right? I think we had in the hundreds that night of people who came. And so, it was my first time talking about my channel and what I wanted to do with it, right? And so, it was awesome. And I took that he did, because it kind of pushed me out there. Some of you guys come from Pinball's channel, and so, I was so first I was getting up off the floor because I couldn't believe that, he said God's Prepared Warrior, right? Nearly died. But after that, I realized what he did, right? And far be it from me to not ever do that for somebody else, right? To help them get out there, And so you'll always hear me encourage you to go to Ohio Valley Prepping's channel, because he's got a great channel. Man, you should go back and look at his videos when he takes people camping. That's really cool, and that's why I want to do it here, because I want to keep helping people know how to do all that. That's bullet right there. So yeah, so thank you for asking that, Scott. Yeah, we need to support each other. Ohio Valley Prepping says, God's Prepared Warrior, most of the prepping community is not in competition with each other. Great community we have. Yes, and that is correct. You are right. I've reached out to a few bigger names and you get lost. You get lost in the sauce. So I've experienced I've experienced that. So you are right, Ohio Valley Prepping. That is correct. Gospel Warrior, email Vision Preparedness. He will help you with the details about Bug Out Weekend. I will definitely do that. That is something that I've been talking with Rule about also. So yeah. Scott says Ohio Valley Prepping. So true. Trent is a great person. Mike at Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival is also helpful. Yes, I have met with them too as well. Scott says, do you follow Lee at Cold War Prepper? No, I don't. But guess what? I will follow him. That is, let me write it down because I'll forget. Lee at Cold War Prepper. Okay. Thanks for that, Scott. Thanks for that, Lee. Awesome. Glenn says God's Prepared Warrior tariffs are good, but at the end of the day, it's a band-aid. Yes, it is. It definitely is. Especially if you continue to see all of that continue to spiral down, right? When it comes to the economy. That is true. It's really a band-aid. Salt Mist. Oh no, Scott Hummer says Salt Mist 7153. It's in the same in Fort Worth. It will, yeah, end very badly. Most homeowners are 2A. That is correct. You can. I think it's safe to say, right, Scott and Glenn, that I think I would say maybe 90%. I could be wrong. Maybe 95% of Texas people have guns. And so Texas is not a place you want to come to and make a mess because, like I said previously, right? Our slogan, don't mess with Texas, is not just a slogan. It's for all things. You don't mess with Texas. That's why, back in the wars with Mexico and all that, Gonzalez has the flag that says come and take it. They really meant it. Yeah, come and get it. You want it? Come and get it. Because what you were going to get was not what you came to get, right? So, yeah, don't mess with Texas. Not just a slogan. That's right, Scott. Psalmist says, yes, it's been crazy with them. I put in security cameras, and it's helped. I have a bright light alarm, and it lights up and the whole street and into my neighbor's yard. It will also do a siren. That's cool. That is super cool. I hope your neighbors are okay with the siren. Some neighbors would complain around here about too much light. I know that much. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah, it's important for you guys, for all of us. I'm saying not just you guys, but for all of us, because I have security cameras as well. And I would encourage you, if you see something in your cameras that needs to be reported, do report it, because that can help in an investigation. Even if it's something like, hey guys, what was that? Thank you for that gift. Were those guinea pigs? That's pretty cool. Thanks, guys. Um, anything can help. Maybe a creeping car. I live in a cul-de-sac, so at the end of the street it says dead end. So if you can read English, not to go in there because you're going to have to go all the way or turn around. Doesn't make sense. But we have a lot of people that just come through and they turn around. I don't know why. It's weird. It drives me insane. But you just never know. Somebody could be creeping. Somebody could be watching, and it's important. So just check your cameras out. Make sure that those things are being done like that, right? Shelly says, hey, I didn't get a new notification. I'm glad I checked. Hi, everyone. Shelly, welcome. I'm glad you came back. I don't know if you noticed, but this was retake 2. I named it retake 2 because it was driving me insane. You could ask the TikTok people over here that it was driving me insane. Welcome back, Shelly. Shelly, just so you know, this is kind of like an open mic. You guys can ask me questions, and I am I will answer your questions. Um, Nobody on TikTok has asked me a question. Okay, Big Dog's in the house, so welcome, Big Dog. And Mondo is here. He's taking care of me over there. All right. So yeah. So if you have a question for me, Shelly, go right ahead. Solomon says one of these kids had a verbal altercation with his neighbor and set her house on fire. That is insane. Oh my god. You know, we have houses they go up on fire here, and it's because homeless people broke into the house and they were living in it because it's been vacant or it's empty or whatever, and so they put their fires in there to cook food or whatever, and it catches fire. That is crazy. We definitely need to pray for your area, Saltness. Wow. Um, Glenn says at Shelly, he says to Shelly, I was wondering where you were. Okay. She's back. Ohio Valley Prepping says Rule 2IC is my buddy. Yes, I know that. That's how I met you. That is how I met you. Rule is super cool. I love him. I love his beard. So speaking of that, I don't know if you guys noticed. I'm letting it grow because it's coming. I always start this towards the end of summer, and so that way by the winter time I have my full beard back. And this time I plan not to shave it. So I shave it because it's so dang hot, and I ride motorcycles over here, and it's just so yeah, that's crazy. All right. So yes, I love Rule 2. He's super awesome. Salt Miss says I remember that. Let's see. Salt Miss, are you getting any storms? She might, according to the news. Hurricane Aaron storm surge watch is issued for North Carolina and the Outer Banks. I knew you guys were gonna talk about some of this stuff, so I had it ready. Storm surge and tropical storm watches are in effect for areas along North Carolina, the Outer Banks, as Hurricane Aaron spins towards the Bahamas and the U.S. So, from what I understand as of this morning, that this hurricane is going to turn north in the waters of the Atlantic and ride up north. So, what if that continues to persist? What will happen is all of the eastern coast will have weather-related things from that storm. That could be wind gusts, that can as low as wind gusts. That can be rain, torrential rain, and more rain. Okay, because that's what we experience when a hurricane comes to Texas, and it doesn't. It may not be coming in our way, but we get all of that from that. So yeah. So I'm glad you asked because Hurricane Aaron is not predicted to make landfall, but it is supposed to stay in offshore, right? Offshore and continue to go north. So that was as of this morning. So, it changes hour by hour. So I haven't really got into that, but I pulled that up. That was posted this morning. So be safe with that, you guys on the East Coast, because what comes with rain? Think about it when it comes to prepping. What comes with rain? Flooding, right? Hail, depending if there's thunderstorms, tornadoes, depending if there's thunderstorms, all that kind of stuff. So just be careful. If you live in a low plain area, make yourself aware of that. Low plain. I meant flood zone. If you live in a flood zone, that's important for you to know that whenever there's a thunderstorm coming and it's huge, and you look on the radar and it's like this huge mass, I wouldn't stay there if I lived in a flood zone. I would be bugging out because it is going to flood, right? Unless you've already experienced a flood and maybe it didn't really affect you that much. I don't know, but I wouldn't stay there if I lived in a floodplain. Heck no. So yeah, so be safe with that. Saltman said poured buckets last night. Yeah, see, clear today, and I'll be looking to see what happens in the next 3 to 4 days. Yes, and she's probably experiencing probably like 65-degree weather over there too, just to kind of poke salt, poke saltness. Um, let's see. Glenn says you can send that rain down here. Heck yeah, man. We sure could use that rain just to keep us cool. Oh my God. We're in the 90s over here. Like, I mean, upper 90s, like 98, 99. We're projected this week to be in the hundreds, triple digits. And, that's in the shade. So I think they're looking at maybe 110. I think what I heard the other day. So yeah, it's crazy. Scott says pinball is awesome. Yes, he is. You guys got to follow him. He's pretty cool. He says I love starting my mornings with Rule Pinball and Fernando. Thank you. That's so cool. That encourages me so much. You don't even know, Scott. Thanks. Because I'm the one that will say I'm encouraged by pinball, I'm encouraged by Rule, and I'm encouraged sometimes by Popular Report. Just depends. And I really watch Canadian Prepper for his insight on stuff that's happening on the other side of the world. But that's my morning. I'm like you, Scott. I get in there and I'm just one of the giddy fans in there. Hey, that's cool. And Fernando, that's awesome. I think I'm gonna clip that later and just hang it on my wall. And Scott is the one that's encouraging me. Glenn, Salt Mist tells Glenn, we need it, but not as badly as you. Yes, it is. My grass is not even green. It's almost like yellow. I mean, it would be nice if it was brown, but it's like yellow. And you know what else is happening? Let me tell you what else is happening. So, my front door faces east, and so my front door gets the sunrise, right? And my backyard over here gets the sun going down. And so where I park my car in front of my house, because the sun comes up from there and is pressing over the top of my house, the reflection hits my window of my car, and the reflection of that hits the ground, and there is a window shape of yellow grass because of the reflection of the sun on the glass of my car. And I'm seeing that on the window, on the front window here, doing it too. So yeah, it's pretty dry over here, and we need all the rain we can get. Um, Shelly says we had 2 good downpours the past 2 days, and it was welcome. Uh-huh. Shelly says we heard about your channel from Pinball. Yeah, you remember? That's awesome. Thank you, Shelly, for hanging with me all this time, because we've been here a year now already. Here. Saltmist says, "Hey guys, if you have any questions for him, um, yeah, put them in all caps. That would help too." Um, let's see. Ohio Valley Prepping says, "If I can make it to Texas next year, I'd love to come." Yay! All right, that sounds great. I'll add you to the list because I actually have a list. So I did an experiment, and I threw it out on my Texas social media, right? So I mean, it's not like hard. It's not hard to find me. You Google me, you will find everything about Fernando. So I went to my personal Facebook page and I, just kind of said, hey, if you guys have been following me, you know that I'm in the prepping space and I want to plan this um, this camping trip, right? And so I had a lot of people. I think at the very beginning, 7 people said, I will come. That sounds like something I want to do. And then because I'm trying to build a community here where I live, I went on Nextdoor and I posted, "Hey, I'm in the prepping space. This is my channel on YouTube. I'm looking for people who want to join my mutual assistance group, and would anybody interested in that?" I got 3 hits from that. One person is a ham radio operator, which is awesome. You always need a ham radio operator on your team. I'm a GMRS radio operator right now, and so that's really awesome to have more radio operators on your team. And so, so I'm adding people to the list for next year's camping trip. So that's awesome, Ohio Valley Prepping. Thanks. That would be awesome to meet you then. Yeah, let's see. Saltmith says, Godspur, what's one prep you are lacking? There's several preps. So I'll say it this way. Food is not a prep that I'm lacking in. It's the organization of it, right? So, my wife and I have been working on that, and storing that, and water also. It's the organization that now I need to get onto, because if not, it's gonna overrun. Have stuff in the pantry. I got stuff in my office. I got stuff in my area where our business stuff is, and so I need to start now organizing all that stuff. So there is a prep that I need to work on. It is my pantry, and I have been also learning about canning, and so and I started my garden this year, but then a while back I went to my garden that I started. Was so happy. You guys remember that video? And all my plants were gone, like they were ate. And so I'm like, where did all of this go? And I think right now the only thing I got alive is my peppers. And so peppers can do well in a drought. So yeah, so I need to work on my pantry, get it organized. I need to work on. That's why I haven't showed anything about that other than the rice that I've been packaging, right? And then put serious things to my garden. So I know now that when I create my space for it, I need to have some kind of greenhouse thing that keeps bugs out of it. And even if I build the greenhouse part, will the bugs stay out of it, right? So it's new to me. I've never done that before, but it was cool. If you look back at my videos, I was so excited that stuff came out of the ground. That was pretty neat. So yeah, so that's, if there's anything, it's that, because I got comms down. That was an important one for me. Preparedness items, I have all of that. Boomsticks and things like that, I have all of that. Could I use more? Yeah. Don't tell my wife, because she'll say no, I don't need any more. But anyway, it's a Texas thing. I'm just saying. Thank you, Saltness, for that question. That's a good one. Glenn Anderson says, only 90%. I figured more like 98. Yeah, you're probably right. That's about, he's talking about Texans who own guns, 98%. Okay. All right. I will go with that, Glenn. That sounds good to me. In Texas, he says gun control means you hit what you shoot at. That is correct. That is correct. And there's a lot of signs that say we call 911 last. So I'm just saying. Kelly says, did you get your ham license yet? No, guys, I am bad with tests. I cringe at tests. When I was in seminary, I had deals with my professors. Hey, can I write a paper instead of taking this exam? And they were like, yes, you can. It's going to be 75 to 100 pages. I'm like, what? So yeah, I burned a lot of trees in college. There were some professors that I had to take the test, but um, I just really clam at tests. I will study, but when it comes down to the test, it's like my brain is wiped out. It's like, what happened? Somebody hit the erase button. So I am studying still, but I just haven't had the courage to do it yet. I am taking the practice tests, and I'm almost at the percentage that I need to pass. What is that? 75%, 80%. I'm almost there. So here pretty soon, I'm gonna go take that test. But I am listening. I am listening on ham radio. Did you get your hand? Yeah, I already read that one. Bullying gun control means the same in Idaho. Shelly says that gun control is the same in Idaho. Means that you hit what you shoot at. That is awesome. Saltman says we are keeping an eye on Erin if she drifts over. It could be sketchy for us. The water is cold here. You had to throw that word in there, didn't you, Saltman? Just to rub it in a little bit. The water is cold here. So it is. It slows her down. Yes, that is correct. If she was in the Gulf, because the water's hot here. I'm just messing with you, Salt Miss. I love you. Um, if a hurricane hits the Gulf, I mean, it's gonna spin out of control because of the humidity, the heat in the Gulf, and it will tear some stuff up. So, yeah, that's the good thing about, and that's why it's been going up and down. I think it's loss category, and then it's gain category, and you're right. That's probably why. 71 degrees here today. Okay, well, I mean, still that's still pretty cool compared to our 98 degrees in the shade. Shelly says Canadian prepper has his good qualities. He does. He really does. And you know what? As much as he says, I've said this to him in a lot of comments, but I don't really think he reads his comments because he's too big, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. He never says anything about that. That's why I say. But in his comments, he says a lot that he's agnostic and that, um, you know, that's where he is. He's agnostic. And so, but there are a lot of times that I catch him talking about God or using God in a sentence. And so, I always send him a comment and say, "Hey, bro, I don't think you're really agnostic. I think you're more Christian than what you think." I love it. I love it. I don't think he reads those, but anyway. Ohio Valley Prepping says, "I'll pick up Rule on the way." That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Oh my God. The three of us together, the what we could do. I'm gonna mention that to him. I'm gonna say Ohio Valley said he would pick you up on the way to Texas. That's awesome. All right. Glenn Anderson says to Salt Mist, show off. 71 degrees. Kelly says, I noticed about Canadian prepper also. Yes, I'm telling you. He says he's agnostic, but yeah, I think he kind of leans. Glenn said, Psalmist said LOL to Glenn. Yeah, so all right, guys. I kind of like it this way. I can be a talker sometimes, but I really like answering your questions. So let's try this again next Monday. I think this would be really fun. I know I caught you guys off guard, except for Salt Miss, because we communicate back and forth about today and our Mondays. So next week, if you want to look back at videos of mine and you have questions about those, bring them next week. Let's talk about it. I usually have all of my stuff with me, right? You guys have seen my comms, Frankenstein comms bag already a million times. But this is my new get home bag for my motorcycle. I'm gonna have to do a video on it. I haven't done a video yet, but I will do a video on it. I think I've brought it up here a couple of times in the live. But I always have that stuff here with me. It's always next to me. And stuff. So I got a few more videos I got to make of some stuff that I've been doing and working on. So be watching for that. Shelly says, I like your talks. Good. I mean, I'm not going to take them away. I actually want to hear you guys also. And this is one way that we can communicate with each other. So I really look forward to Mondays with you guys. And I look forward to just communicating with you. So next Monday, let's try this again. But now this time, you can all week long. I already know, and that's okay. You're all are gonna have a million questions, and that's great. I would encourage you to bring somebody with you. If you know them and they're not here, bring them with you. It would be really cool. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight on this different round. This was actually a round table. We actually all talked together, all of us, right? Let's see. Ohio Valley Prepping says, actually, if we both come, we probably would ride together. I'd have to go ride by his area anyway. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, that's great. Thank you, Shelly, for that comment. That encourages me too. So yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for showing up tonight and being here with me. Let's try this again next Monday. I think it'll be really cool. Be safe out there, guys. Remember, stay vigilant, stay prepared, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless you guys.